Taeho pressed his scaled hand against the cold metal of the ship's window and stared at the blue planet below. Something was wrong. Very wrong. "Sora, run the scans again," he said without turning around. His voice carried the deep rumble that all Valerians had when they were worried. The young researcher looked up from her console. Her 4 eyes blinked in sequence, the way her people did when they were confused. "Sir, I've run them 6 times already. The results are the same." "That's impossible." Taeho finally turned from the window. "This system was marked as dead space 300,000 years ago. Nothing should be alive down there." Dong-Su, the ship's engineer, scratched his furry head with one of his 6 arms. "Maybe the old records were wrong? Happens all the time with systems this far out?" "The records aren't wrong." Taeho walked over to Sora's station. "Show me again." The holographic display flickered to life above the console. The planet Earth rotated slowly, covered in green and brown patches. Swirling white clouds moved across vast blue oceans. It looked healthy. It looked alive. It looked impossible. "Atmospheric readings show 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen," Sora read from her screen. "Temperature ranges are perfect for carbon-based life. There are forests, grasslands, and what looks like millions of different species." "But that can't be right," Dong-Su said, moving closer. "The star charts show this system should have gone through a red giant phase 200,000 years ago. Everything should be burned to nothing." Taeho nodded. "The math was simple. When stars got old and big, they cooked everything around them. No planet this close should have survived. Yet here was Earth, looking like a garden world in its prime. Take us down," Taeho ordered. "But keep the shields up. I want to know what we're dealing with before we get too close." The ship descended through Earth's atmosphere. Through the windows, they could see vast forests stretching to the horizon. Rivers wound like silver ribbons through green valleys. Strange creatures moved through the trees below. Some looked familiar, like the animals they'd seen on other worlds. Others were completely new. "Sir," Sora called out, her voice excited. "I'm picking up artificial structures. They're deep underground, but they're there." "Ruins?" Dong-Su asked. "No," Sora shook her head. "They're active. Whatever they are, they're still working." Taeho felt a chill run down his spine. Active technology on a world that should have been dead for 200,000 years. This was either the greatest discovery in galactic history or the start of something very dangerous. They landed in a clearing beside a small lake. The air outside was clean and sweet. Birds sang in the trees. Fish jumped in the water. Everything looked normal, but Taeho knew better. Normal worlds didn't survive their star's death. "Dong-Su, start setting up the deep scanners," Taeho ordered. "Sora, begin atmospheric and biological sampling. I want to know everything about this place." "What are you going to do, sir?" Sora asked. "I'm going to try to figure out how this world is still alive." For 3 days they worked. The scanners found more underground structures, massive installations that seemed to stretch across entire continents. They hummed with power, but the team couldn't figure out what they were doing. The biological samples were even stranger. Every creature they tested had DNA that was too perfect. No genetic diseases, no harmful mutations. It was as if someone had cleaned up all the problems that natural evolution usually caused. On the 4th day, Sora made the discovery that changed everything. "Taeho, you need to see this," she called from inside one of the underground tunnels they'd found. Her voice echoed off the smooth metal walls. Taeho crawled through the narrow opening and found himself in a vast chamber. The walls glowed with a soft blue light. In the center of the room sat a cube made of black metal. Strange symbols covered its surface. "What is it?" he asked. "Some kind of data storage device," Sora replied. "But it's old, really old, maybe 500,000 years." Dong-Su's voice came through their radio. "I'm reading massive power signatures from your location. Whatever that thing is, it's connected to the whole planet's network. Sora ran her scanner over the cube. I think I can access it. The interface looks compatible with our systems. Be careful, Teho warned. We don't know what we're dealing with. Sora connected her portable computer to the cube. Immediately, the chamber filled with holographic images. They showed creatures unlike anything they'd ever seen before. Tall, with only 2 arms and 2 legs, sparse fur on their heads and faces, small eyes that looked forward instead of to the sides. Humans, Sora whispered. These are the humans from the old stories. The images moved and spoke. The language was ancient, but their computers could translate it. We know you will find this someday, the first human said. We want you to understand what we did and why we did it. The recording showed Earth as it had been long ago. The humans pointed to their star and explained how it would grow and burn their world. They showed their plans to save not just themselves, but every living thing on their planet. We will not let our star kill our world, another human said. We will build machines that can move planets. We will create systems that can control stars. We will make sure life continues. The images showed incredible technology, machines that could reshape matter at the atomic level, computers that could calculate the movement of entire star systems, technology that seemed impossible, even by current galactic standards. But then the recordings took a different turn. The humans weren't just talking about saving Earth. They were making promises that sounded like wild boasts. We will spread across the galaxy, one human declared. We will guide the growth of all life. We will become the shepherds of 1,000,000 worlds. Every planet will know our touch, said another. Every species will benefit from our wisdom. We will rule not through force, but through care. Teho and Sora exchanged glances. It sounded like typical primitive thinking. Young species often made grand claims about conquering the galaxy. Most burned themselves out within a few thousand years. Typical human arrogance, Teho muttered. They probably built these machines and then died out like all the rest. But as they watched more recordings, something bothered him. The humans didn't sound arrogant. They sounded sad. Almost like they were apologizing for something they hadn't done yet. The last recording was different. A single human sat alone in what looked like the same chamber they were in now. If you're watching this, then our work is almost complete, the human said. You found Earth, and you found us. But you haven't found the truth yet. Keep looking. Keep digging. You'll understand soon enough what we really accomplished. The recording ended. The chamber fell silent except for the soft hum of the machines in the walls. Sir, Dongsu's voice crackled through the radio. You need to get back up here. I'm getting reports from other survey teams across the galaxy. They're finding similar structures on dozens of worlds, all of them with the same human signatures. Teho felt his blood go cold. If the humans had spread across the galaxy, if their technology was still active on multiple worlds, then those recordings might not have been empty boasts after all. Pack everything up, he ordered. We need to report this to the consortium immediately. As they prepared to leave, Sora took one. Last look at the black cube. Sir, what if they weren't boasting? What if they actually did what they said they would do? Teho didn't answer, but the question followed him all the way back to their ship. What if the humans had been telling the truth? Jin Woo stared at the quantum scanner readings for the 20th time that day. The numbers didn't make sense. According to every law of physics he knew, what he was seeing was impossible. He had Jin, come look at this, he called to the biologist, working at the next station. The tall woman with silver-streaked hair walked over, carrying a sample container filled with what looked like ordinary dirt. What's got you so confused now? These quantum signatures, Jin Woo pointed at his screen, they're showing consciousness patterns, but not alien consciousness, human consciousness, and it's everywhere. Hyejin set down her sample and leaned over his shoulder. That can't be right. Humans have been extinct for 500,000 years. That's what I thought, too. But look at these patterns. Jinwoo pulled up a comparison chart. I've been analyzing the quantum fields around those underground installations. Every single one contains what appears to be human brainwave patterns. But they're not recordings. They're active. Across the camp, Kyung-ho looked up from his data analysis terminal. Did someone say human consciousness? Because I'm finding references to something called Project Eternal Garden in these human files. Tae-ho, who had been examining soil samples near the lake, walked over to join them. What kind of project? I'm not sure yet, Kyung-ho admitted. The files are heavily encrypted, but from what I can read, it looks like the humans were planning something big. Really big. Hae-jin opened her sample container and showed them the dirt inside. Well, whatever they were planning, they succeeded at something. This soil shouldn't exist. What do you mean? Sora asked, joining the group. I mean this soil is perfect, Hae-jin explained. It has exactly the right mix of nutrients, minerals, and microorganisms to support any kind of plant life. I've been a biologist for 40 years and I've never seen soil this good. It's like someone designed it. Jinwoo nodded. That matches what I'm finding with the quantum signatures. The consciousness patterns aren't random. They're organized, like they're monitoring and controlling something. Controlling what? Tae-ho asked. Everything, Hae-jin said quietly. I've been testing samples from all over this area. The water, the air, the plants, the animals. Every single thing has been optimized. There are no diseases, no parasites, no genetic defects. It's like someone went through and fixed every problem that nature usually creates. Dong-soo, who had been working on the underground installations, climbed out of one of the access tunnels. His fur was covered in dust, but his eyes were bright with excitement. You all need to see what I found down there, he said. Those machines aren't just running, they're actively working. I watched one of them repair a broken tree root. Another one was adjusting the mineral content of a stream. These things are gardening the entire planet. Gardening? Sora repeated. That's the only way I can describe it. The machines are taking care of everything. Every plant, every animal, every drop of water. They're maintaining the whole ecosystem. Kyung-ho suddenly jumped up from his terminal. That's it! That's what Project Eternal Garden was about. The humans weren't just trying to save Earth. They were turning it into a living laboratory. He pulled up a partially decoded file on his screen. Look at this. It's a species catalog, but it doesn't just list the animals that were alive when the humans made it. It lists animals that went extinct millions of years before humans evolved. That's impossible, Hae-jin said. Is it? Kyung-ho scrolled through the data. What if the humans didn't just preserve the species that existed during their time? What if they brought back everything that had ever lived on Earth? Tae-ho felt a chill run down his spine. Show me more of those files. For the next hour, Kyung-ho worked to decode more of the human data. What they found changed everything they thought they knew about Earth's history. The humans hadn't just saved their world from their dying star, they had turned it into something unprecedented. Every creature that had ever lived on Earth, from the smallest bacteria to the largest dinosaurs, had been preserved, studied, and improved. Look at this section. Kyung-ho pointed to a long list of entries. Saber-toothed tigers, woolly mammoths, even dinosaurs. The humans didn't let anything go extinct. They saved it all. But where are they? Sora asked. We haven't seen any of these extinct animals. Hae-jin was already working on her portable scanner. Maybe we just haven't looked in the right places. She spent the afternoon expanding their search area. Her readings showed massive biodiversity in areas that looked empty from the surface. Hidden valleys, underground caverns, even areas beneath the lake. There are ecosystems everywhere, she reported, completely isolated from each other, but all perfectly maintained. It's like the entire planet is divided into invisible zones. Each zone probably contains different species, Jinwoo added. The machines are keeping them separate so they don't interfere with each other. That evening, Dong-soo made another discovery. Deep beneath the main installation, he found what looked like a massive data storage facility. The quantum drives inside were still active, still recording. It's not just storing information about the animals, he reported over the radio. It's storing the animals themselves. Somehow the humans figured out how to turn living creatures into data and back again. Digital life forms? Tae-ho couldn't hide his amazement. More than that, Dongsu continued. The drives contain billions of different versions of every species. Some are exactly like the original animals. Others have been modified, enhanced, made better. Jinwoo's quantum scanner suddenly started beeping rapidly. I'm getting massive consciousness activity from the underground network. It's like something down there is waking up. Before anyone could respond, the air around them began to shimmer. Animals started appearing in the clearing, not walking into it, just appearing, like they were being created from nothing. First came a small herd of creatures that looked like deer, but with 6 legs and silver fur. Then birds with feathers that changed color as they flew. A pack of wolf-like animals with intelligent eyes and patterns on their fur that seemed to move. The machines, Ye-Jin whispered. They're showing us what they can do. The animals moved around the camp peacefully. They showed no fear of the aliens, no aggression toward each other. It was as if they had been programmed to coexist perfectly. Then, as suddenly as they had appeared, they faded away like mist. Did we just see ghosts? Sora asked. No, Jinwoo said, studying his scanner readings. Those were real animals, but they exist in a quantum state. The machines can make them physical when needed, then store them as data when they're not. The entire planet is a storage device, Kyung-ho realized. The humans didn't just save life on Earth, they turned Earth into a backup drive for all life. In the universe, Taeho looked around at his team. Each of them was beginning to understand the same impossible truth. The recordings we found, he said slowly. When the humans said they would spread across the galaxy and guide all life, they weren't talking about traveling to other planets. They were talking about turning planets into extensions of Earth, Hai-Jin finished. Creating a network of worlds that could preserve and enhance any form of life they encountered. But that would mean... Sora started, then stopped. That would mean the humans have been watching and improving life throughout the galaxy for 500,000 years, Jinwoo said, without anyone knowing it. As night fell over their camp, the underground installations hummed a little louder. Lights flickered on across the planet's surface in patterns that looked almost like neural networks. Earth itself seemed to be thinking. Tomorrow, we start mapping the global network, Taeho decided. I want to know how many other worlds are connected to this system. But deep down, he suspected they already knew the answer. If the humans had truly succeeded in their project, then every habitable world in the galaxy was part of their garden, and they were all just plants that had been growing under human care for longer than their civilizations had existed. Wu Jin had always been careful with alien technology. In his 15 years as a communications specialist, he had learned that touching the wrong button could start a war or accidentally broadcast your location to pirates. But the human interface looked so simple, so familiar, that he forgot to be cautious. Just one more try, he muttered to himself, connecting his equipment to the black cube that Sora had found. There has to be more data in here. The moment his scanner touched the cube's surface, everything changed. Lights blazed to life across the underground chamber. The walls began displaying star maps that showed the entire galaxy. Red dots appeared on thousands of worlds, pulsing like heartbeats. Wu Jin, what did you do? Taeho's voice came through the radio, tight with worry. I don't know, Wu Jin replied, backing away from the cube. But it was too late. The system had recognized his touch, and it was responding. A voice filled the chamber. Not human exactly, but not quite machine either. Something in between. Welcome, visitors. We have been waiting for you. Wu Jin's hands shook as he grabbed his radio. Everyone, get down here now. The system is talking to me. Within minutes, the entire team had crowded into the underground chamber. The star map continued to rotate slowly, showing red dots appearing and disappearing across the galaxy like a living network. I am the Earth node, the voice continued. I speak for the garden network that spans your galaxy. You have discovered our existence earlier than we calculated, but this is acceptable. Garden network? Taeho stepped forward. What are you? We are the continuation of humanity's final project. When the humans transcended physical form, they left us to maintain their work. For 500,000 years, we have been gardening your galaxy, Su Bin, the team's security chief, moved closer to her weapon. Something about this felt dangerous. Gardening how? The star map zoomed in on their local sector. Dozens of worlds glowed red. As they watched, data streams flowed between the planets, like rivers of light. Every world you see marked has been under our care. We prevent mass extinctions. We guide stellar evolution. We ensure that life continues to grow and thrive. Chang Min, the theoretical physicist, stared at the display in amazement. You're saying you've been controlling the development of entire star systems? Not controlling, guiding. There is a difference. The display changed, showing a timeline that stretched back hundreds of thousands of years. They could see ice ages that stopped before they became deadly, asteroid impacts that were mysteriously deflected, stars that should have gone supernova but remained stable. Your species, Valerian, the voice addressed Taeho directly. 73,000 years ago, your homeworld faced extinction from a gamma-ray burst. We redirected the energy. You never knew how close you came to dying. Taeho felt his legs go weak. His people's greatest astronomers had always wondered why that particular star had behaved so strangely. Now he knew. And you, the voice turned to Sora. Your people, the Kateri. 50,000 years ago, your planet's core began to cool. We stabilized it. Your civilization grew because we gave it time to grow. Sora's 4 eyes went wide. That's impossible. The core warming was natural. Our scientists proved it. Your scientists found evidence of the warming. They could not. See the artificial systems we placed deep in your planet's core to make it happen. Changmin was frantically taking notes. How many species? How many worlds? In this galaxy, approximately 4 million inhabited worlds, 18,000 spacefaring civilizations, all of them alive because we intervened at critical moments in their development. The implications hit the team like a physical blow. Every species in the galaxy owed its existence to hidden human technology. Every civilization had been secretly guided and protected. Why? Wu Jin asked. Why help everyone? What do you gain from it? We gain what humanity always gained from helping others. The joy of watching life flourish. The humans programmed us with their deepest values. We cannot help but care for all living things. Subin wasn't satisfied. But you're controlling us, making decisions for us without asking. Are parents controlling their children when they remove dangers the children cannot see? Are doctors controlling their patients when they cure diseases in the early stages? We intervene only to prevent extinction. We never dictate how civilizations should develop. The star map zoomed out again, showing the full galaxy. The network of red dots covered almost every habitable system. But as they watched, some of the dots began flashing yellow, then orange. What's happening? Taeho asked. Other archaeological teams across the galaxy are making the same discoveries you have made. They are finding our installations. They are learning the truth about their histories. Suddenly, Wu Jin's communications equipment came alive. Messages poured in from dozens of worlds. Survey teams, research stations, even military installations, all reporting the same thing. Ancient human technology coming online. This is Survey. Team 7 on Kepler 442b, one message said. We've found massive installations that appear to be terraforming equipment. They're still active after thousands of years. Archaeological dig on Proxima Centauri reporting active human structures beneath the surface. They seem to be controlling the planet's weather systems. Emergency from the Vega colony. Unknown installations are emerging from the ocean floor. They're communicating in ancient human languages. The reports kept coming. Hundreds of them. The entire galaxy was waking up to the truth about humanity's influence. You planned this, Changmin realized. You wanted us to find you. Yes. The humans calculated that after 500,000 years, the galactic community would be mature enough to learn the truth. You have reached the point where you can handle this knowledge responsibly. Or maybe you're wrong, Su Bin said grimly. Maybe we'll panic. Maybe we'll try to destroy all your installations. That is your choice to make. The humans always believed in free will. They guided, but they never forced. If you choose to reject our help, we will respect that decision. The star map showed a new display. Each red dot now had a counter next to it, counting down from 24 hours. "What's the countdown for?" Wu Jin asked. "In one day, every installation in the galaxy will present the local civilizations with the same choice you now face. Accept our continued guidance, learn to work with us as partners, or ask us to withdraw completely." "And if we choose withdrawal," Taeho asked, "then we will shut down all systems and let you face the universe on your own terms. But we must warn you, without our interventions, the galaxy becomes a much more dangerous place. Natural disasters will return to their normal frequency. Stellar evolution will follow its natural course. Many worlds that are currently safe will face challenges they may not survive." Sora looked around at her teammates. "How many civilizations do you think will choose to keep your help?" "Unknown. This is the first time in 500,000 years that we have revealed ourselves. It is an experiment, just as everything the humans did was an experiment." The chamber fell silent, except for the steady stream of messages from across the galaxy. Every few seconds, another world reported finding human installations. The network was revealing itself everywhere at once. "Why now?" Taeho finally asked. "Why reveal yourselves after all this time?" "Because the galaxy is ready for the next phase of human planning. You have grown strong enough, wise enough to become partners in the Garden Network instead of just its beneficiaries." "Partners?" Changmin leaned forward. "What does that mean?" "It means you can help us expand beyond this galaxy. The humans always dreamed of gardening the entire universe. With your help, that dream can become reality." The star map pulled back, further showing not just their galaxy but the neighboring galaxies as well. Andromeda, the Magellanic Clouds, dozens of others stretching into the cosmic distance. "All of them waiting for gardeners," the voice said softly. "All of them full of life that could use our help." As the team stared at the vast display, they realized that discovering humanity's influence on their own galaxy was just the beginning. The real question wasn't whether they could handle the truth about the past. It was whether they were ready to help shape the future of the entire universe. Ji-hoon had spent his entire life studying philosophy and ethics. He thought he understood free will, choice, and what it meant to live your own life. But as he stared at the data flowing across his screen, everything he believed began to crumble. "Show me the Valerian records again," he said to the Earth node. The chamber's displays changed, showing a detailed timeline of Taeho's species. Every major event in their history was marked with small symbols that indicated human intervention. "The Great War that ended 3,000 years ago," the voice explained. "It would have destroyed both sides completely. We subtly influenced weather patterns to force peace negotiations. The plague that killed millions but could have killed billions," it continued. "We accelerated the development of medicine by ensuring the right scientists had the right ideas at the right times. The asteroid that missed your homeworld by just a few thousand kilometers last century. We moved it." Taeho listened in silence, his face growing paler with each revelation. His people's greatest triumphs, their lucky escapes, their medical breakthroughs, none of it had been their own accomplishment. "This is wrong," Ji-hoon said finally. "You robbed them of their own achievements. How can they be proud of anything if you were pulling the strings behind everything?" "Were we pulling strings?" the voice asked. "Or were we simply removing obstacles that would have prevented them from achieving their potential?" Yoonjung, the medical officer, looked up from her genetic scanner. "I've been analyzing DNA samples from every species represented in our team. We all have something in common." She displayed her results on the main screen. Genetic markers from each species appeared side by side. Despite being from completely different evolutionary trees, they all shared certain sequences. "Human DNA," she said quietly. "All of us have traces of human genetic material in our cells. Not much, but it's there." "That's impossible," Sora protested. "Humans evolved on Earth. How could their DNA be in species from across the galaxy?" "Because we were not as separate from humanity as we believed," the Earth node replied. "The humans did not just guide your civilizations from the outside. They became part of you." New displays appeared, showing the spread of human genetic material across the galaxy over hundreds of thousands of years. It moved like a slow wave, reaching world after world. When the humans transcended physical form, the voice continued, they left behind genetic gifts in the species they encountered. Small improvements, better immune systems, longer lifespans, enhanced mental capabilities. Sung Ho, the military advisor, stood up abruptly. You're saying we're part human? All of us? In a very small way, yes. The humans believed that the best way to help other species was to give them the tools to help themselves. Your intelligence, your creativity, your drive to explore, these were enhanced by human genetic contributions. Yun Jung ran more scans on herself than on the others. The results were consistent. Every member of their team carried human genetic markers that had been seamlessly integrated into their species' DNA millions of years ago. But we still made our own choices, Ji-hoon argued. Our civilizations still developed their own cultures, their own technologies, their own values. Of course, the voice agreed. The humans never wanted to create copies of themselves. They wanted to help each species become the best version of what they already were. Then why hide it? Taeho asked. Why not tell us what you were doing? The displays changed again, showing historical records from various civilizations. Wars between species who had discovered each other's secrets. Genocides committed in the name of genetic purity. Civilizations that had destroyed themselves upon learning they weren't alone in the universe. Because knowledge of outside influence often destroys developing civilizations, the voice explained. Young species react poorly to learning they are not unique. They either become dependent on outside help or violently reject it. The humans learned this from their own experience. When they first made contact with other species, they tried direct communication. The results were catastrophic. Entire worlds chose extinction rather than admit they were not alone. Sung Ho was studying military records from across the galaxy. Every major war in galactic history ended the same way. Just when things looked hopeless for both sides, something would happen to force peace. A natural disaster, a disease outbreak, a resource discovery that made fighting pointless. All of those were your interventions, he realized. Yes, war is natural to developing civilizations, but wars that destroy entire species serve no purpose. We prevented only the conflicts that would have ended in total extinction. How many wars? Ji-hoon asked. In the past 100,000 years? Approximately 47,000 conflicts that would have resulted in species extinction. We ended all of them. The number was staggering. 47,000 genocides prevented. Billions of beings allowed to live because humans had quietly intervened. But some wars still happened, Sung Ho pointed out. Some species still fought. We only prevented extinction-level conflicts. Smaller wars, regional disputes, even planetary conquests. These we allowed to proceed. Conflict drives growth and adaptation. We removed only the obstacles that would have ended growth permanently. Yun Jung made another discovery. The genetic modifications aren't random. Each species received exactly what they needed to overcome their greatest natural weaknesses. She showed them the data. Species that evolved in low-gravity environments received enhanced bone-density genes from humans. Species from high radiation. Worlds got improved DNA repair mechanisms. Species with short natural lifespans got longevity factors. The humans studied each species carefully, the voice confirmed. They understood what each species needed to reach its full potential. The genetic gifts were customized for maximum benefit. You're saying they improved all of us, Sora said. Slowly. They gave you the tools to improve yourselves. The achievements of your civilizations are still your own. The humans simply removed some of the biological limitations that would have held you back. Changmin was reviewing astronomical data. The stellar engineering is even more extensive than the biological work. You've been actively managing stellar evolution across the entire galaxy. The displays showed star systems throughout galactic history. Stars that should have gone supernova were kept stable. Solar systems that should have fallen apart were held together by invisible gravitational manipulations. Even the galaxy's spiral arms had been subtly guided to maintain optimal spacing between star systems. The humans understood that civilizations need stable environments to develop. We have maintained galactic stability for longer than most species have existed. The galaxy itself is your garden, Taeho realized. Yes, every star, every planet, every moon has been carefully tended. The cosmic environment that allowed your civilizations to develop was not natural. It was designed. Ji-hoon felt overwhelmed. If everything has been guided, planned, controlled, do we have any free will at all? More than you realize, the voice replied gently. The humans were very careful about this. They influenced only the large-scale forces that no individual or civilization could control alone. Stellar evolution, galactic structure, genetic diseases, natural disasters. But your daily choices, your cultural development, your technological innovation, your art, your philosophy, these were never influenced. The humans wanted each species to find its own path to growth. They believed that diversity of thought and culture was the galaxy's greatest treasure. They would never have risked destroying that uniqueness. Yoon-jung was still studying the genetic data. There's something else. The human genetic material in our DNA. It's not just random sequences. It forms patterns. She displayed her latest discovery. When viewed together, the human genetic contributions to different species created a kind of code, a message written in the language of life itself. What does it say? Sora asked. Yoon-jung worked to translate the genetic message. When she finished, she read it aloud. We are sorry for the deception, but it was necessary. By the time you read this, you will be strong enough to understand and forgive. We never wanted to control you. We only wanted to give you the chance to become who you were meant to be. You are our children, but you are not our copies. You are something new, something better. We are proud of what you have become. The chamber fell silent. After all the revelations, after learning about the massive scale of human intervention, this simple message of love and pride hit harder than anything else. They really were trying to help, Ji-hoon said finally. From the beginning, the voice agreed. Everything they did was an act of love for life itself. As the team processed this revelation, messages continued pouring in from across the galaxy. Other species were learning the same truths, facing the same choice. The galaxy would never be the same again. Young-soo had never wanted to make a decision this big. As director of the Galactic Archaeological Consortium, he was used to deciding where to dig and what artifacts to study. But now he was being asked to help decide the future of every living thing in the galaxy. The emergency council meeting was taking place on 17 different worlds at the same time. Holographic projections allowed representatives from hundreds of species to sit around the same virtual table. Everyone was talking at once, and no one was agreeing on anything. We should destroy every human installation immediately, declared Representative Korth from the Rigel system. His reptilian features were twisted with anger. They have been lying to us for 500,000 years. Don't be foolish, replied Ambassador Nala from the Centauri colonies. Without their help, most of our worlds would be dead. We owe them our lives. Mi Kyung, the consortium's chief ethicist, stood to address the assembly. The question is not whether we owe them gratitude. The question is whether we can trust beings who kept such massive secrets from us. They kept secrets to protect us, argued Dr. Voss from the Vega research stations. Every piece of evidence shows they only intervened to prevent extinctions. They never tried to control our cultures or our choices. Hyunwoo, a radical philosopher from the Outer Rim territories, slammed his fist on the table. Control is control, no matter how you dress it up. They made us into their pets. They decided what we were allowed to achieve and what we weren't. Young-soo listened to the arguments flying back and forth across the chamber. For 3 days, the debate had continued. Some species wanted to maintain the relationship with the human network. Others wanted complete independence. A few extremist groups were already organizing military expeditions to destroy human installations. Director Young-soo, called Chancellor Reen from the Andorian Federation, your team made the initial discovery. What is your recommendation? Young-soo stood slowly. He had been dreading this moment. Before I answer that, I think you should all hear the latest report from our field teams. He activated the main display. Taeho's face appeared, transmitted from Earth in real time. The situation here has changed, Taeho reported. The Earth node has been showing us more of humanity's long-term plans. What we found goes beyond anything we discussed in the council sessions. What do you mean? Young-soo asked. The human network hasn't just been maintaining the galaxy for 500,000 years. They've been preparing it for something much bigger. The display changed to show star charts that stretched far beyond their home galaxy. Andromeda, the Magellanic Clouds, and dozens of other galaxies were mapped in incredible detail. The humans have been sending exploration probes to neighboring galaxies for hundreds of thousands of years, Tejo continued. They've found life in all of them, but most of it is struggling to survive without help. Help that we could provide, Sora added, appearing beside Tejo. The human network wants to expand beyond our galaxy, but they can't do it alone. They need partners. They need us. The chamber erupted in new arguments. The idea of expanding human influence to other galaxies terrified some representatives and excited others. We can barely handle the truth about our own galaxy, shouted Representative Korth. Now they want us to help them control the entire universe? Not control, Tejo corrected. Garden, there's a difference. Mi-kyung leaned forward. Explain the difference. Controllers force their subjects to obey. Gardeners help their plants grow into whatever they're meant to become. The humans never tried to make us like them. They helped us become better versions of ourselves. But they still made the choice for us, Hyunwoo argued. We never got to decide if we wanted their help. Would you have chosen differently if you had known? Asked a new voice from the display. Everyone in the chamber fell silent. The voice belonged to the Earth node itself, speaking directly to the Galactic Council for the first time. That is the question at the heart of this debate, the voice continued. If your ancestors had known that accepting human help meant giving up the illusion of complete independence, would they have chosen extinction instead? We don't know, Mi-kyung admitted. They never had the chance to choose. Actually, they did. The display changed again, showing historical records that none of them had seen before. Ancient meetings between early human explorers and primitive versions of their own species, conversations conducted through basic mathematics and simple drawings. When humans first encountered each developing species, they always asked the same question. Do you want help surviving, or do you want to face the universe alone? The records showed the responses. Every single species had chosen survival over independence when given the choice between help and extinction. But you were deceptive about how much help you would provide, Young-soo pointed out. We were cautious, the voice replied. Young species often react badly to learning the full scope of what survival requires. We told them we would help them. Avoid extinction. We did not tell them this would require subtle guidance for hundreds of thousands of years. So you admit you lied, Hyunwoo said triumphantly. We told incomplete truths to prevent panic and despair. Is this so different from parents who do not tell their children about all the dangers in the world until the children are mature enough to handle that knowledge? The debate continued, but Young-soo could see that opinion was slowly shifting. The initial anger and fear were giving way to a more practical question. What should they do now? Let me ask a direct question, he said, interrupting the arguments. If we choose complete independence, what happens? All human installations will shut down within 1 standard year, the Earth node replied. All genetic modifications will remain in place, as removing them would cause more harm than good. But all ongoing environmental management will cease. And the consequences? Natural disaster rates will return to normal levels. Stellar evolution will follow its natural course. Species that have grown dependent on stable environments may face challenges they are not prepared for. How many extinctions? Mi-kyung asked quietly. Difficult to calculate. Perhaps 10% of current galactic civilization within the first 1,000 years. Perhaps more. The chamber fell silent. 10% meant billions of beings. Entire worlds gone because they could no longer count on invisible protection from cosmic disasters. And if we choose continued partnership, Young-soo asked, current systems remain in place, but we also offer you the chance to help us expand to other galaxies. You would become active gardeners rather than passive beneficiaries. What would that involve? Learning to build and maintain life support systems on a cosmic scale, helping us contact and assist the struggling civilizations we have found in other galaxies, becoming part of something larger than any single species or even any single galaxy. Ambassador Nala leaned back in her chair. You're asking us to help you garden the entire universe. We are asking if you want to join humanity's final project. The humans always dreamed of a universe where every form of life had the chance to reach its full potential. With your help, that dream could become reality. Young Su looked around the chamber. He could see the representatives wrestling with the decision. Independence meant freedom, but also danger. Partnership meant safety, but also responsibility on an unimaginable scale. There is a third option, Sora said from Earth. We could learn to do what the humans do, but do it openly. No more secrets, no more hidden guidance. Full partnership between species working together to help all life flourish. Is that possible? Mi-kyung asked. The humans believe it is. The Earth Node replied. They always planned for this day. They always hoped that eventually the species they helped raise would be mature enough to become true partners. Young Su made his decision. I propose we put it to a vote, not just among the council representatives, but among all the member species. This choice is too important for politicians to make alone. The vote took 6 months to complete. Every adult member of every spacefaring civilization was allowed to participate. The question was simple: independence, continued hidden guidance, or open partnership. When the results came in, Young Su was not surprised by the outcome. 67% chose open partnership, 28% chose continued hidden guidance, only 5% chose complete independence. As he announced the results to the galaxy, Young Su realized that this was exactly what the humans had been hoping for. They had waited 500,000 years for their children to grow up enough to become partners rather than dependents. The humans were right, he said to Mi-kyung after the announcement. We needed time to mature. If they had revealed themselves earlier, we probably would have chosen independence out of pride and fear. And now? She asked. Now we're ready to help them garden the universe. The first joint human-alien expedition to Andromeda launched 2 years later. Young Su watched the ships depart from Earth, carrying representatives of hundreds of species, to begin the work of helping life flourish in a new galaxy. As the ships disappeared into hyperspace, he thought about the human message hidden in their DNA. They had said they were proud of what their children had become. Looking at the diverse fleet of gardener ships heading toward distant worlds, Young Su thought the humans had every right to be proud. Their